Hello, welcome back. We are out here by my chicken coop. I just figured for this video it'd be better to be in an outdoor setting instead of inside, so there might be some bird sounds. But I've been doing a lot of my spring homesteading projects and taking care of things. And I've had some good things, good productive things, and then also some bad things happen, and it's just kind of got me thinking about what are the more difficult aspects of owning a homestead. I know it's a fantasy for a lot of people to sell everything and move out to the country and start a homestead. And even as someone like me who kind of had experience growing up with it briefly between visiting my dad on his farm, even just owning one, just running into things that you didn't think would be issues, things like that. So I wanted to go over some of those challenges with owning a homestead and just making the public more aware of what maybe you're getting into and if it's right for you, which I can't tell you if it's right for you, but maybe you can watch this and use some deductive reasoning. So anyway, with that, I will get into the number one bummer of owning a homestead, which I have dealt with recently, which is why it's on my mind and why I'm going to talk about it first. Oh my gosh, apples. Is animals will die. They will die in so many different ways, and no matter what you do, they are going to die. You can do everything you think is right, and they will still die. So some of those ways that they can die are by getting sick. It's not always reasonable to take everything to the vet, and even if you do take it to the vet, it's not guaranteed that it will live from whatever it's sick from. They can get into accidents that you would have never conceived possible, such as getting their head stuck in a fencing that no one has ever gotten their head stuck in, or impaling themselves on something, or sometimes you just find them dead from something and you're like, I don't even know what you did, but you did it, and now you are dead. They can escape, run into the road and get hit by cars. They can go escape and get eaten by your neighbor's dogs, or the neighbor's dog can get into your thing and eat your stuff. Predators are a huge issue. You might think everything's cool and dandy, and then the predator finds the one tiny little mistake you made and capitalizes on it and eats everything you own, which that is something I've dealt with recently. I lost most of my ducks to, I believe, coyotes. So I've had to go back and really predator-proof. I've turned on the electric fence. I've covered up a lot of gaps. I've been more stringent about making sure everyone's in the coop at night, but predators may not be a problem until one day they are and everything is gone. Other issues are they can just die from old age. You can't stop age, and it will take us all one day. So that is something you have to deal with. There's also, you have to maybe be the one committing the euthanasia of your own animals if they're too sick, or their genetics aren't right, or you have too many males, or if there's behavior issues, you need to take it upon yourself to maybe put them down. I've had to euthanize animals because they were too injured from fighting each other. I've had to put down chickens just because it's not worth making them suffer and recover and rehoming them. So it's something you have to consider, is maybe you'll be the one having to put things down and then also watching a lot of animals come and go. Other aspects that can be difficult is the upkeep and maintenance of a homestead is a ton of work. You'll accumulate a lot of trash as you bring in feed and bedding, and as you finish projects, just tools and spare wood and old materials. You'll be ripping doors off possibly, or like ripping things down and having that kind of waste. So figuring out how to manage your trash, how to manage the time to do all the projects you want to do, to be able to improve things, to build things. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of planning. It's a lot of figuring out what you need to do. And yeah, apples, I'm gonna put you down. Okay, she doesn't want to be put down. She is so needy right now. Also, along the note of maintenance, things will break. You will buy a homestead and everything seems fine, and then 2 seconds later, something will break and you have to pay for it or fix it yourself. You may have to learn how to do a lot of skills that you didn't think you'd ever need to know how to do. There's a lot of stuff that I still don't know how to do a ton, but I learned how to set up electric fencing and how to put up a basic fence and how to do basic woodwork. It's not great, but you have to learn how to do some stuff, or else you're going to be spending a fortune trying to hire people to help you do it. Other negative aspects can be if you get sick or you want to travel, you need help taking care of all the things. Animals typically have at least some daily maintenance as far as feeding goes and watering and making sure everyone's okay. And if you are sick or need a day off, there just is no day off. You have to take care of them. Hold on, I need to get rid of this fucking goose. He always sneaks back up on me and screams at me. He's such a dick all the time. I fucking hate that goose. I don't know why I keep him. He's lucky. He's lucky I don't fucking yeet him into the sun. Anyway, another downside is that things need taken care of, especially animals. They have some daily maintenance no matter what animal it is. You can get away with some things as far as like chickens having automatic waters and feeders and things like that. But to some extent, if you have animals, even if you're sick, you have to get out and do the basic chores. So when I'm sick, I just go out, make sure everyone has food and water, and I immediately go back inside. I do like I have bare minimum days, and I have big efficiency, get things done days. So sickness days, you definitely still have to go out and do it. A lot of people ask me if my husband helps me with stuff on the farm. If I asked him, he would, but it's mostly a me thing. This is what I wanted. I wanted to do the homesteading thing, and I'm not gonna force someone who didn't want to do that to do those things, and I don't mind doing it because regardless of if he was there or not, I would be doing these things. So, but if I asked him, he would help me, but for the most part, even when I'm sick, I try to just do the bare minimum things and go in. But if I'm like super deathly ill, I would just ask him, but it's up to me to ask. I'm not going to expect him to just do something that is my deal. So whether or not you think that's fair, you like that, is up to you in your own relationship. Other things you have to consider is if you want to travel or if you need to go out of town for a few days, you need to find a farm sitter, someone you can trust. You might have to end up paying someone to do this job. So considering that you have to have extra money anytime you travel to pay someone, or if you have family or friends who are very generous and would help you with those things. So it's not like you can just get up and leave. You have to plan, who's gonna water the plants, who's gonna feed the animals, who's going to make sure that no one has escaped, and things like that. Another thing to consider is weather. Whether or not it is raining, cold, hot, snowing, etc., you still have to get certain things done. Again, rainy days or super cold days are gonna be similar to sick days where you're doing bare minimum as long as you don't have to, just making sure things have food, water, and that things are just taken care of. Whenever it's more fair weather, that's when you can consider things like projects, improvements, making things bigger, better, faster, stronger, whatever. Apples is clawing the shit out of me. And a major factor in wanting to run away and have a homestead is cost. This all costs money, whether it be material, buying the animals themselves, buying the feed, or medicine, first aid stuff. All costs money, so that's something you have to consider, whether or not that's your day job that pays for that, or whether it's the homestead itself that eventually pays for that, but investing the money in it and making sure you have enough business sense to turn this into a cash flow for you that pays for itself. I'm really fortunate that my day job and my husband's day job pays for a lot of this. I don't aim to make my homestead a profitable venture. I do sell my eggs to kind of help pay for the feed that goes into it, and I sell my art and do YouTube and things like that to help pay for the homestead. But I feel like that's a reality for a lot of people at homestead, is that you're gonna need an outside income to pay for the homestead, at least at first, if you plan on making it an income source later. But it does cost money to do any of this. Of course, there are budget or cheaper ways to do all of this, so don't get too caught up in the Instagram ability of your homestead. As long as it is functional and what you want, then it's totally fine. You don't need the prettiest chicken coop. You just need something that keeps coyotes out at night. All right, get off me. And finally, one of the biggest aspects of owning a homestead that is very challenging is having the mental health and capacity to do all of this. It's very difficult to deal with all of the death, all of the time that it takes to do projects, time management, kind of the isolation that can come with it, because this is kind of an all-consuming way of life. You need someone there who can support you and is with you on it, even if they're not a huge part of it. But it can be very difficult, and sometimes I wonder if I made a mistake buying my homestead, or if this was like the right way to spend my time in life, and should I quit doing all this? Because some days are just really difficult, as far as like, I have 5 projects that need to be done. I need to pick up trash over here. A storm blew down 5 more tree limbs I have to go pick up. I need to go predator proof this. I need to go buy feed here. I need to go take care of that. And then on top of it, my dogs need attention. It just becomes a lot sometimes. So just having the mental fortitude to deal with it and have outlets to express these grievances or get help when you need it is something to consider, because it is not an easy venture, but I will say from personally it's definitely worth it. So I don't regret living on a homestead. This definitely gives my life a lot of purpose. It's something I'd rather spend my time doing this than whatever else it would be. Because when I lived in apartments and in the cities, I became super obsessed with houseplants and aquariums and things like that. I just needed something to do because I wasn't really interested in sitting and watching TV all day, and there's only so much you can go out and do. I'm not super overly social. I like to go out and draw and things like that, but for me, I just wanted to work with my body, build a garden. I like to see things grow. I like to nurture things. I like to raise animals. I find a lot of joy in just spending time with them and seeing the fruit of my labor, even if it is difficult. So for me, it's definitely worth it, even if it is hard. But I think most things in life that are good come from a lot of difficultness, said in a more eloquent way. So I'd rather do the good work than the easy work. Oh yeah, before I end this video, I'd like to say the #1 most difficult thing of owning a homestead, which I never thought I would be spending so much of my adult life just absolutely obsessing about, hating, and loathing, is grass. I fucking hate grass. No matter where you live, grass is going to be on your mind constantly. Whether or not you have it, whether or not you have too much of it, whether or not you have to mow it, whether or not you have to plant it. Fucking grass. I hate grass. I live in a scenario where I have too much fucking grass, and I gotta think about, how do I mow this? How do I find the time to mow this? Can I afford to pay someone to mow this? Also, there is an invasive grass that grows up to your fucking head, and you can't even mow it down anymore, and you have to get a tractor to come mow it. How do I find someone with a tractor to mow this? I don't fucking know. So, and then if you don't live in a place with grass, you're like, how do I get grass? How do I water this grass? How do I buy hay? Where do I get hay? How do I afford hay? Grass is the fucking devil. I hate it. Also, whoever brought Johnson grass to the Americas, I hope is in hell. I hope they're not having a good time in the afterlife, Mr. Johnson. Anyway, I don't want to end on a negative note, so I will say I do love my homestead. I do think if it is a venture you'd like to explore, it is worth attempting and trying, but do it slowly, do it at your own pace. Don't look at other people's shit and wish it was yours. Just do what you can for your place that makes you happy, that you can afford, and don't worry about what people on the internet are doing, because someone on the internet is just showing you the finished project or product of all of their hard labor, or they had the money to just pay someone else to do it and then they get to talk about it. So anyway, with that being said, I don't know, take from it what you will, and I will give you an apple to leave on. And maybe in the comments, suggest some more upbeat topics about homesteading that you'd like me to cover, whether it's about owning ducks or taking care of horses or anything that you're curious about homesteading wise that I can maybe help you with now that I've given you the challenges. So that being said, here is Apples, who hates the tax. She hates paying the government. I too hate the government and paying them, so we have something in common, and I will see you next time. Goodbye. Also, I have allergies or something. That's why I sound stuffed up. Goodbye.